Hey everybody, welcome back to the NC State Insider Podcast. I'm your host and lead beat writer, Tucker Sennett, joining you here today to discuss NC State's upcoming appearance in the Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa, Florida. And today I wanted to just focus on a few young players that I think are going to get some extended playing time in this game, given, veterans having already kind of put together their body of work, and bowl games now often being sort of a rehearsal, dress rehearsal for some of these younger guys who are going to fill maybe some of these roles from older players who are moving on, whether that's via the transfer portal or the draft. Um, and some of these guys I think have just earned a little bit more playing time as the season has gone on. And so I think it's a interesting experiment to see, just who might be in the mix in terms of that playing time. As for, who I'm going to start with here, I really do think I do think CJ Bailey's going to play in this game. I'm not sure if he'll play the entire game. And there's a world where I certainly see freshman quarterback Will Wilson, who, had that monster performance against North Carolina in the final game of the regular season. There's a world where I see him getting some extended playing time in the, normal quarterback role rather than just his short yardage run quarterback role. Um, I could see NC State, pulling out some stops, even in some of those short yardage situations with him, having him, drop back and pass, maybe running some fake plays because there's really nothing you have to hide in the playbook anymore. You're not waiting for any opponents, and NC State might have some trickeration up its sleeve in this final game. So he's one that came to mind right out of the gate. I think Duke Scott, the redshirt freshman running back, who is kind of the heir apparent to this offense in a lot of ways, is also a candidate to get a lot of playing time, just because it's somewhat unclear what Hollywood Smothers' status is going to be. We haven't really heard anything about that. Um, I think if I were to make an assessment right now, I would say that Hollywood maybe plays a little bit in an effort to go for that 1,000 yard rushing season. He's 63 yards off of that. So there's definitely a world where he comes in and rushes for 63 yards and then kind of shuts it down from there. But we'll have to wait and see with him. If not, Duke Scott is in line to get some serious playing time. Obviously had that monster performance um, against Georgia Tech when he rushed for 196 yards. And this Memphis defense has been pretty stout against the run. Opponents are rushing for just 3.8 yards per carry against the Tigers defense. However, Scott and this NC State offense likes to run the ball. They like to establish the run. But this might be a day where NC State has a little bit more success in the passing game, as Memphis does not present much of a stiff pass defense in terms of pass rush, and NC State's experienced offensive line and talented offensive line should be able to keep CJ Bailey and or Will Wilson and or Lex Thomas upright. As for the defensive side of the ball, I could see some younger players getting some run at linebacker alongside the existing veterans. You got a player like Kevon Carter, LaCorian Hodge, and Kelvin McBride coming back from his injury, but Carter and Hodge are interesting because those guys are probably going to be, you know, critical faces in the linebacker room next season, inheriting those roles from players like Caden Fordham and Sean Brown and Kean Sloan and Kenny Soares Jr. So I think those guys are definitely in line to play a fair amount and get some pretty valuable reps. I think Tristan Teasdale in the safety room is definitely a candidate to get some playing time. He and Ronnie Royal can certainly go back and forth on the field with one another, both in their first or second year. So yeah, I mean, I think NC State obviously would really like to snap this bowl losing streak that stems back to the 2017 Sun Bowl. That was the last time NC State won a bowl game, and playing your veteran players gives you a better chance to do that. However, I do think just the nature of bowl season has changed greatly, and I know Dave Doran really wants to, win, and this is sort of a reward for a season's worth of hard work, but at the end of the day, you gotta kind of see what you got for next year. You gotta see, who's bought in on this program moving forward and just go from there. And I think NC State will have a strong opportunity to, see what it has with some of these players in this final game, um, and assess. As always, really appreciate you all tuning in. Um, if you want more content, go ahead and follow me on X or Twitter at Senate Tucker. You can also follow the website's X account at NC State Wolfpack on SI. And of course, subscribe to the sports videos on SI YouTube channel for daily episodes of the NC State Insider Podcasts. We'll see you next time.